And of course, I'll be joined today by officials from the Patriotic Youth Movement after they did an investigation regarding human rights violation by a foreign investment company. But first, welcome back, viewers. Now I am joined by officials from the Patriotic Youth Movement. These guys did a report for the bridge and road construction sites at Basse and Fa2 where gross human rights violations were allegedly uncovered by the company that was contracted to build the bridge and the road. Now I am joined by the PRO of the association, the movement, Sheriff Jangha, and of course Malik Jajo, who is the accountant. Welcome to the Fa2 Network, gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you.
I will start with you, Malik, because you were on the ground. We were supposed to play a video here to kind of give the people a base of what we are trying to talk about, but since it's taking a lot of time to download, I will just allow you to give us, a brief explanation of this whole thing, this report.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you very much for having us here at the news review. We're very much honored. First, I would like to introduce why the PYM was created. Yeah, far too long, youths of this country, we echo on different grounds. Like, whenever we talk on different grounds, and then we have different perspectives. So the PYM generally was created to build common grounds, to create common grounds where we can organize the Gambian youth. Because the reality is we have FA2 law, we rely upon people to be safeguarding our welfare. Like we say the National Assembly is there, we say the President is there, we say that and that councillor is there, that and that director and minister is there. But the reality is most of them, they don't work up to expectation. Because you understand when we go through this report that we've went through and had meetings with different government institutes, but the reality is the response has been slow and whatnot. So the reality is it's just to unite the Gambian youths under one common goal. What is that common goal? Let's watch out for each other. Let's safeguard each other's right, and then we work together towards nation building. So that was basically the purpose of creating the PYM. And then when we created it, we received this intel of Gambian youths working in this Basse and Fa2 project. It's a government project under the supervision of the Chinese. So we visited because the reality is we were told that there is this human rights violation that the youths that are working there are going through. So we visited to ascertain if the rumors are real. So basically when we got there on a Friday, and on a Saturday we started the outreach, met the youths, had an interview with them that is on the video and on the report too. Yeah, they explain quite like in detail whatever they go through over there. But it will come to your surprise that things like this are happening in the Gambia. And then these youths claim that they've complained to every single authority out there in URR, but nothing has been done. They work from 7 in the morning to 7.
Yeah, because I just wanted to get to that, to be specific. What are some of the things that this investigation unearthed?
Exactly. Yeah, these youths, they work from 7 in the morning to 7 in the evening, like without no overtime pay. And this has to be every day of the week. They have to report to work. And then whenever they get injured during working hours, they will have to go to the hospital on their own charges, and they have to report back to work on the same day. Because if you don't come, you can be fired for it, because these youths were not contracted. So that gives the Chinese this power to hire the youths today and fire them tomorrow. So they have to report to work. Even if they come with an ED, it will not be respected. Yeah, so, and the next thing is that these youths have been beaten. They beat them with rods. And even one of the youths have to tell us like that there was a day they were walking. It's a bridge. So definitely there is water on the ground. It's a river. The hammer fell inside the water. They have to instruct that they have to go down and bring the hammer.
Inside the water.
Inside the water. So if we have to discuss everything, it's gonna be like so too much, right? But to understand, to put things to perspective, is like they were working under severe conditions. You can see them, they transport rods with their bare hands because there is no safety equipment. Only safety equipment that was there was this thing, how they call it, helmet. But the rest, no safety boot, no safety gloves, no safety wears. Yeah, so they easily get injured. It's very difficult to have people working for a week without having a severe injury. Yeah, severe injury. Yeah, so this was basically what was going on over there.
And for you, Sheriff, why was it important for this movement to look into this case in particular as a young person?
first, time dictates agenda. And if you don't know what time it is, you might do the right thing at the wrong time and get not the right results. And two things await the people: that they have the responsibility to seek the right knowledge at the right time, that they will take charge of their destiny, or they leave it in the hands of others to shape their destiny for themselves. And it is important to understand that we allow ourselves to be in the hands of other people. And it is important for us as young generations to take responsibility, because if we do not take responsibility for our lives and for our future and for our destiny, then likely we will not have the destiny we intend to have. So if what happened in Basse is left unaddressed, it's going to be a pace setup that will continue forever. So we concerned youths, we say this has to be reported to stop it, because we have seen what happened in Congo, where we have young men and women, children, being exploited to exploit the resources of Congo, and some of them at the detriment of their own life, and nothing has been done in Congo. So if we don't stand up to address the problem that's going to occur in our country, and we have to raise the alarm that we are not going to allow any force anywhere to come to this country and exploit our people without giving up what we demand, without giving us our due rights. Because I cannot be working under that conditions without any protective equipment. It is absolutely wrong. And the authorities that elected or put in office to serve our well-being and welfare have been rigged too, but nothing has been done. So if we allow that to happen and nothing has been said, nobody stands up to speak about it, what do we expect to happen? Things will continue. So we say then it is our duty and our responsibility as patriotic youths to get there and see what happens, so that we can report it back to the public, because we met a lot of officials, but nothing was done. So then we deem it necessary then to go there and report what happened.
Does this whole thing come to you as a surprise? Because it's interesting that you mentioned Congo and how, you know, rights are being violated there by foreign investors. But the most embarrassing part about this whole thing is that we have seen videos circulating online where we have officials, I don't want to mention a particular country, but officials, foreign officials, going to a particular country in Africa, and we see these officials actually assaulting a minister. We've seen that video online. Does it come as a surprise to you?
No, it doesn't come to me as a surprise. Do you know why? Because he who pays the pipe dictates the tune. So if I am the one paying you your allowances, if I am the one, you know, sponsoring your development project, then I am an investor. I come into your country. Then whatever I do, what are you going to say? You won't say anything, because I am the one giving you the fund that is required for you to be in power. So what are you going to do? You're not going to do anything. And that is what is happening in all African countries. You will see ministers who are supposed to serve the public interest are being bought off by this foreign, bribe them, giving them some money, giving them free visa, giving them a lot of money that they cannot speak because they have been bribed. So if I bribe you to do a particular cause, are you going to speak? You don't have, because your mouth has been shut down, because you have been bribed. It's not a surprise to me, because we allow these foreign powers to finance our development projects, and then under conditions we accept. So if we do accept that, then what happened? This is what is going to happen. So we don't want it to continue. We want these Chinese, the authorities, to address the Chinese. We see what they are doing in our seas and all that stuff. That is another topic of its own. But this issue, we cannot allow any force, anywhere, no matter how powerful you are, to come to our country, no matter how little resources we have, no matter how little power we have, to exploit us. It has to end.
Malik, who are the authorities that you guys are confronted with this report, and what was the response?
First, from the report, we met the National Assembly Select Committee for Youth and Sport. Yeah, we met them and we put the whole thing to them, that this is what is happening. You know, one thing is interesting in Gambia is so many people in power, when you give them some of the organizational or maybe functioning lapses that they have, lapses in operation, they kind of like, oh, I'm surprised, I don't know this is happening. But you are the one responsible. Interesting. So he's like, the guy was like, he doesn't know that this is happening, and then he commended the effort that we did to go all the way and then get this information.
This is the National Assembly Select Committee on Youth and Sport.
Exactly. So he's like, okay, he advised us to write a petition, which we wrote, to petition the Chinese company formally. Yeah, but having a second thought on it is like, is his responsibility to safeguard the welfare of this youth? Why ask us to write a petition when we call this attention to this issue? Yeah, so you could understand what is going to happen. But most interestingly, we went to the National Human Rights Commission through the connection of the National Youth Parliament President, Speaker rather, Omar Cham. He connected us to the National Human Rights Commission. We met them too, and gave them the report and the video, which they promised within a month they will do an investigation and then make a recommendation to the government.
Has it been a month since they had access to this report?
It was in Ramadan. So that will be like maybe two months plus, heading to 3 months, possibly. Yeah, so you could understand, they promised, and then what will you have to do? You just have to come sit and wait. We have been making follow-up calls. The calls are not returned, they don't pick the calls. Right, so it is so crazy. These are the institutions that we have in place. So we tried meeting the National Youth Council, also the executive chairperson, but to no avail. We had meetings twice that were scheduled, and then he didn't appear, only to give a text like, I cannot make it and whatnot, busy with some engagements and whatnot. So we gotta take that.
What does this tell you?
Yeah, it tells us that our authorities are not concerned with what is happening in our lives. You know, when election comes, they bamboozle us with promises, and then election go by, they forget all the promises and then go and serve the interests of those who are giving them the fund to do their development projects. And this, we are saying it has to end. You know, if I give you a responsibility and pay you that responsibility to serve, you're expected to do that. But not to, you know, your people should be conscious enough to understand that power belongs to them. That we are the owners of power, and if we are the owners of power, whoever we entrust that power, we must put them to charge to do what we want. But what they do in return is to put laws that will impede us not to stand up against what they're doing that is wrong. And most of Gambians are very complacent. We tend to ignore everything. We tend to conform with everything. Let's leave it. That masla syndrome is affecting us. And look at it, we are over 50 years from independence. But still we are crying on one particular problem. Still now. Nothing being solved. So it is now our responsibility as this generation heading into the next to prepare our country for the generations to come. We cannot live in the hands of those people who are serving other powers. We are saying that we have to rise up now and start to take charge of our destiny. Because whatever today these people are doing there directly affects us tomorrow. Because we are the one to take over responsibility. So if today you are occupying an office and you are not doing as mandated, if I come into your place, what is going to happen? I have another challenge. Because you were not accounted as to what you're doing in that office. So meaning we need to be accounted to make sure these precedents set cannot be repeated. But who can stop it if authorities don't stop it? It is the population has to stop it, and all the authorities to do what they are expected of, or else we will stand up against the authorities. That's what we are saying.
It's very unfortunate that all the people that you've confronted with this report are basically silent over it. Where do you go from here?
Yeah, very important, because first, for publishing this video, we want to say something with it. That is, this video came viral because the authorities that were responsible for taking an action didn't failed. We met them all with all this information first, yeah, because we think everything in this country, the lapses that happen, maybe it's a problem of information, misinformation, or maybe the communication lines are not clear so that the president gets to know this, or the minister, or maybe the director, right? But then we try to communicate with all of them, yeah, but to no avail. So that's why the video is viral. So first, what we seek to acquire from all this is it has to go throughout the length and breadth of the country. Every single youth, every single mother, every single father has to understand whatever is going on in this country. And for the father has to understand that his son can be a victim next time. For the mother, the same. For that sister, for that brother, for everyone in this country, we need to understand that this is what we are locked up in. Like, you can be the victim next time, or he or another person. So we need to unite first. I'm talking to the youth. First, we need to do a massive campaign on the youth, to unite the youth on a common ground. That enough of saying that we have a president in place, enough of saying we have a government in place, we have that so ministry and whatnot, or commission to safeguard our welfare. No, like, it is not there. It is not vibrant. So we need to organize ourselves into movements, not advocates anymore, but into movements, to make sure that we address these issues. Whatever it requires, we give it. Whatever it requires, we give it.
And what do you have to say to the Gambian youth, especially at a time when we are heading to the polls, December?
Yes, unity is very important, because we have seen in the social media people using sentiments, attacking one another. We have seen youths in this country, not coming to common grounds. So as long as I don't believe in what you believe in, so you are my enemy. You are my enemy. And that is not the case. I have a view, and which you should respect, just as you have a view I should respect. But if I hold a different opinion, contrary to yours, then I am termed as an enemy. And I think if our generation failed in coming together to shape the destiny of this country, then we are shifting around a burden to the next generation, just as the burden is shifted to us. So what we are telling, that the election is coming, we should vote wisely. We cannot listen to just follow jamborees or follow any sentiments. We look at party programs, party agendas. What do you have for this country? Sincere program. That's why we should read whatever everybody present before us. But sometimes we just want to depend on hearsays. It's our duty, it is the duty of every youth to take the manifesto of every party and sit in your home and study them and read it and translate it to those people who cannot read. What this one says, what that says, and choose the best you think can serve the interests of this country. Then we go ahead with that. The Gambia belongs to us, and it is nobody's property. It is our property, and it is our responsibility to safeguard that property, and we should respect one another, not to insult, to safeguard the peace, the tranquility of this country, and make sure that the development this country yearns and its resources must be used to serve the interests of this country.
But sometimes, like they said, the youth are not very much engaged into politics. Why is it important for them to start paying attention?
Because we are the one taking over. Because it is our lives, it is our destiny that we are giving to somebody else. So if we don't take the responsibility to involve ourselves into it, then what are you saying? You're handing over your destiny to somebody else to do for you, and then he will do it and play it anyhow he wishes, and then you sit and complain. So that is why it is your responsibility to make sure that you stand up now and say, I'm going to involve and take charge. In case whatever happens, I'll take responsibility. But if you leave it in the hand of somebody, then he plays with what you live in, and you cannot complain. So therefore, the campaign should be on, not based on sentiment or based on tribes or based on somebody I know, but based on who is having the agenda we need. And if that is not done, the same thing will reoccur every another 5 years. Another person will come, we keep complaining on the same issue, just how we've been complaining for 50 good years. Nothing will change. So as long as the mentality, the attitudes, and our ways of perceiving reality is not changed, this country will remain the same. So that's why we must engage in making research, making studies. I always emphasize people should start to read. We should understand how nation evolves. We should understand how societies lived. And that can only be done if we take it as our responsibility and study and read. history, read what happened in the past. Why is this happening today? Is simply because it was tabled yesterday. So if you don't know what happened yesterday, then how are you able to address what is currently today? That's why everybody's, I always encourage my students, read anything that is on your table. Don't let it go. The news is on, read it. Take some part of your salary and go and buy a book to equip your mind, that nobody else can come and fool you. You can get the money, but it's going to get down. But when you get the knowledge, it's going to be with you, and you are not going to be fooled. That is why this country should be directed a new path. That the youth should be hungry for knowledge. Because all these things, what is happening, the Chinese are coming here, other powers are coming here, exploiting us simply because we lack the knowledge how to do it by ourselves.
The know-how.
The know-how. But if we know it, then will we call them? They said this country don't have resources. I don't believe in that. We have the resources. But what the problem is, the attitude to manage the resources to serve the necessary needs of the people is what is lacking. Because the attitude of the people is just trapped into quick fix success. And success don't happen like that. It should be something that is gradually developed over time, that we can build a solid foundation for ourselves and the next generations to come. Otherwise, that is not done. We will just still be here complaining the same problems because we refuse to lay the foundation that is the right knowledge for the right time and for the right purpose, that we lay the foundation and build a nation like any other country.
Thank you very much, Sharif. Malik, your final words before I let you go.
Well, my words will go to the Gambian youths. Yeah, because this whole thing is happening because we are those that vote. We are those that are working too. We are those that have been exploited. All these problems that we are faced with, yeah, we are the ones that are struggling with it. Yeah, so it's to them. Like, let's take a moment to change how we do things. Yeah, because the storyline has been the same. Yeah, since 1965 to date, the storyline has been the same. What do Gambian youths do is just to be on trucks, on top of vehicles, shouting, drumming, dancing at political rallies and whatnot. No. We need to change that trend. Yeah, we need to understand that we cannot entrust safeguarding our welfare to anyone else but us. So enough of saying there is a Janha, enough of saying there is a Malik, enough of saying there is a Sergeant Burito to report all this thing. And also enough of saying you are from this party, enough of saying you are from that region or from that religion.
Or from that tribe.
From that tribe. We need to organize ourselves on common grounds and then to take ownership of what belongs to us. Because it's not going to be given, it's going to be taken.
Thank you very much, Malik and Sharif, for coming to the Fa2 Network.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. That will be it for News Review today. Do join us tomorrow if you can. Thank you very much for watching and have a good day.